Good morning, my beautiful woman, and welcome to an episode for Lingerie and Lattes. My name is Olivia Drumaga, and I founded Vulcanability as a safe haven for women and men to experience monogamous relationships that are founded upon truth. And the three main truths that exist between male and female relationships is one, that there will be differences between the two people. Two, that men and women are different. And three, in order to create a baby, we need both a female and a male. So if we start from those foundational principles of what it means to be in a monogamous relationship between a man and a woman, we can really start to grow in how we communicate, what we say to our partners, and how we say it can be really different. Because if we are observing that men and women have a different way of thinking, that we have different perspectives or perhaps experiences with a certain subject, then we can really adjust how we present a certain problems or desired topics within our partnership. So I want to segue a little bit more today to the feminine and talking about the self-care that's required for our yonis and for our bodies to feel sensual and safe enough with ourselves so that they can open and experience pleasure with not just with solo play, but also with our partners. Because sometimes with the work that I've been doing with women, they can finally access pleasure with themselves, but allowing their partners, even if it's the beloved husband or a boyfriend, it's just more, it carries more weight in order to feel vulnerable, safe, and held to express yourself in an orgasmic state. The first thing I would say is holding your palm and cupping it over the yoni and taking a moment to simply sink into that place in your body and having that physical touch. It could be over clothing or over your bedspread or whatever. It doesn't have to be skin to skin contact with yourself if you're not comfortable with that. But having that energy from your palms being placed in such a vulnerable area, what that does is really bring our attention back into ourselves, into our body, and also pretty much awakens the nervous system between our yonis and our minds. Because what usually draws people away from the orgasmic state is a thought or a concern and anxiety that they're looking strange, they're sounding strange, or maybe they just simply can't relax, like their bodies are in such a hyper state. So it's a lot of disassociation between the yoni and everything else that's happening in the body. By placing contact touch with your yoni, you are creating new neural pathways that say contact and yoni is safe. And perhaps now, with that layer of safety established, now perhaps the next layer of experience with your sensations of the body could be intrigue. Then perhaps it's pleasure. So it doesn't have to necessarily rush you into a state of pleasure. The biggest thing about these practices, and as we do them for our own bodies and our yonis, is that we take things slowly and we build them up. If we think about how much we can demand from our bodies, but not necessarily give back as easily, it's a big disparity. And if we can consider, what else can I offer to her right now in order for my body to feel more relaxed, present, and grounded? A big thing I love to do is also exfoliation and just this whole pampering. So I have these vulva balms, or you can use oil, just like in a sweet almond oil or something lighter. And after like a sugar scrub exfoliation that's meant for the body, You can add that in as like this a self-soothing sort of self-massage experience for your evening, because the more we bring touch that's gentle and perhaps uh and not related to intimacy, not sexual, we can actually rewire the experience of how that area of the body is receiving touch. Perhaps we have experience yoni steams. That's another way that I love to give back to my yoni. I'm actually probably going to do one tonight because it's just such a soothing practice. It really detoxifies everything, and it makes your insides feel warm and as if they have sort of just had this healing broth. It's kind of the same experience for me personally. Um, and what a yoni steam is these organic herbs that you essentially boil with, well, not, you don't boil, you steep them over boiling water. And then as that steam rises, you can place yourself over that bowl and place perhaps a large skirt or even towel to keep the steam in and allowing the steam to go up the yoni. Please do not do this if you are pregnant or if you are menstruating. Wait until after your cycle is done and after your pregnancy. So giving back to our yonis, bringing in touch, having a relationship with our bodies and that particular area well outside of the bedroom is crucial for pleasure. If we consider how men touch and experience themselves, they are non-sexualizing their bodies all day, every day, because they have an external body part, so they have to interact with it every single time they use the restroom and have to relieve themselves. Women are all internal. Even if we have our cycles once a month, that is all a shedding, and really no, typically women don't want anyone near that area or pretty much near their abdominal region during these times. So it's even more of a push away from your body, versus men have sort of this innate physical connection and association with their private parts because they are they essentially need to touch them every single day in order to function. When we consider how different those two scenarios are, and on top of that, we add the lack of education for women and men around the anatomy of a woman, we can really understand why there's not much pleasure being had, but a lot of people having intimacy. And that's really where my work is. It's to bridge the gap between the intimacy a couple feels and to experience the pleasure that they feel. Because if you can transmute your relationship to the realm where you have incredible physical connection, your physical problems and the things that are dragging your relationship down become much easier to talk about, become much easier to deal with, because there's at least a stress reliever and a bonding that is over a positive dopamine release in the body and other chemicals. With that note, my loves, please have an absolutely fantastic Friday, and we will chat next week.